After Caleb Williams' pro day, most people are now wondering, what are the Chicago Bears going to do with the number 9 overall pick? Can they risk trading back? We're going to talk about that all plus more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host there, Haize. More importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content. So Caleb Williams had his pro day yesterday, and, we've already talked about it. It's a pro day, right? Not a whole hell of a lot to take out of a pro day, but the things that happen around the pro day really are kind of what reportedly wowed the Bears. The Bears spent 3 days off and on with Caleb Williams, talking to him from roughly 15 to 20 minutes at the combine, going out to dinner with him, really getting some time to spend too. The Bears sent 9 people down there to Caleb Williams' pro day, and when it comes down to it, it seems like Caleb Williams didn't do anything to hurt his standing with the Chicago Bears. Now, as I've said before, you have to keep in mind that this is Ryan Poles. There's always a chance for some craziness to go down, but everything seems shaped up that the Chicago Bears are now going forth. They're going to be drafting Caleb Williams, and that just is what it is. The Bears moved on from Justin Fields. It signifies a new quarterback coming in. We've talked very heavily about how they've set the new quarterback up for success with the moves that they made, especially on the offensive side of the ball. The defense being as solid as what it is as well. This Bears team is in a good position, right? And I know some Bears fans have some issues with certain things with the team, right? But at the end of the day, the meetings that this team had with Caleb Williams, it just goes to solidify, right? We know that Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren, they have talked about the person, right? They want to make sure the character of the person, because they're trying to build a culture in that locker room, matches as well. And I would not be surprised at all if that isn't hugely important to their evaluation as well, is getting that sit down, getting that time to talk with Justin Fields. And with Caleb Williams, getting that time to talk with Caleb Williams and really kind of getting to know the man behind the football player. And we'll now see, what does that mean for the Chicago Bears? What does that mean going forward for the team? What's next for this? How successful is Caleb Williams in his first season with the Chicago Bears? Like I said, leaving a little bit of percent of a chance for the Bears to do something kind of unexpected, but I think all signs are pointing to the Bears drafting Caleb Williams. And listen, I'm not saying that everybody should just be sold on Caleb Williams just because the Bears seem sold on him, right? And, Jalen Johnson, other players have basically said the same thing. Like, Caleb is going to have to come in and show it, right? That's the thing. And that's with every football player. Kind of the more hyped you are, the more you have to prove in a lot of ways. And for that credit, Jalen Johnson was quoted as saying this when it came to Caleb Williams. He said this: "Of course, I'll be excited. I think for me, you kind of hear all the comparisons, the generational talent, and all that being thrown around. So I think for me, I'm just excited on that note of it. But I think too, it's hard to compare him to Patrick Mahomes and guys like that. Patrick Mahomes didn't come in right away and do what he's been doing the last few years in his rookie year. It took some time. He sat behind Alex Smith. He went through the process. He learned from Andy Reid. He learned from Alex Smith, a veteran quarterback. So I think for me, it's one of those things with being patient with progress, being patient with how he comes in and the mistakes he's going to make and the plays he's going to make. He's a very talented guy. He can definitely do some things with his feet. He has plenty of arm talent. I feel like there's not a throw he can't make." And so, that's what people have basically said about Caleb Williams. And he even said this: what you did in college, the Hollywood is like, no, you got to prove yourself. That stuff like that doesn't matter. You got to get to know him too. I think there's a fine line between trying to prove a point to him, but you also got to get to know him, because at the end of the day, we want him to be the absolute best that he can be. That's what we're bringing him in for, to win games. And that's what it comes down to. I get it, Bears fans. We're like, especially the ones that were in the Justin camp. The decision was made now. Like I said before, it was out of the fans' hands. It was on this front office, on this staff, and they made the decision to go forward with Caleb Williams. Now it's about Caleb Williams and the team winning football games and getting that to the place and developing Caleb Williams, and we'll see where that's going to be. But the next biggest question for the Chicago Bears leading up is what to do with the number 9 overall pick. We know that the Bears are going into this draft with 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and a fourth-round pick. They have 4 draft picks in this draft, and people are asking, can the Bears afford not to trade down in this draft? And it really comes down to who falls at number 9. There's some talent in this draft at number 9 that I get it. You can get kind of other players at different positions at number 9, but really when you look at it, it comes down to this, for me at least. Joe Alt is a player that at his position can be generational with what he's able to do on the football field. Rome Odunze, if he drops to number 9, not to say that he's a generational talent, but this is a guy who had over 1,600 yards receiving last year and 13 touchdowns, average over almost 18 yards per reception. That's a talent at a position of need that you can't really kind of overlook. Dallas Turner, if he's there at number 9 for the Chicago Bears, to me, I don't think that you can pass that up at number 9. Now, if it's Dallas Turner, you can make a conversation to trade down, right? You got Jared Verse there, another edge that can be gotten between like picks 12 and 15. So if you can trade down there, make sure you're still getting Verse. That's not a problem. You're getting Verse. Again, I like what Dallas Turner can bring, but Jared Verse is a damn good, and the only reason Jared Verse is really falling is because of his age. Another edge, and Latu is there that can be gotten between picks 12 and basically pick 18 as well if you look at most of these mocks. So it really depends on the talent that's there, right? We know and expect. It could be quarterbacks all the top 3, wide receivers maybe all the second 3 with one falling. It's the talent that falls there to number 9 by the Chicago Bears that, to me, should answer that question and make that determination by the Bears if they need to trade down. There's more than enough talent in this draft, and I get it. As Bears fans and seeing what Ryan Poles has done before, there's more reason than not to believe he's going to come into this draft looking to will and deal and get the Chicago Bears more draft picks. There's more reason to believe that, and this is a very deep draft, and the Bears are going to have to make that decision. But when I look at number 9 and some of the players that could fall there, I think that determination has to be made, and I get it why we think you have to get more draft picks and more draft selections. But here's what I'll say. When Ryan Poles made the moves in his first 2 years at GM to get more draft picks for the Chicago Bears, we were way further off than what we are now. And I'm not saying that he will, if Ryan Poles does not look to get more draft picks, and maybe it's just keeping the the 2 first-round picks that he has, maybe trading in some other places of opportunities open themselves, because in later rounds, you can will and deal, right? Because the talent kind of closer in that, right? So maybe that's something that he does. Make no mistake, I do think that Ryan Poles, and there are starting caliber centers in this draft that if you can get into the second round, you can absolutely get. But it really comes down to what happens there. And I don't think we should go in with any one expectation of what Ryan Poles is going to do. There's some really good talent in this draft, right? I've talked about what you can do. The players that I would stay at number 9 for, that's Rome Odunze, the wide receiver. That is Joe Alt, the offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. And I would heavily consider it if it's Dallas Turner as well there at number 9, who reportedly the Chicago Bears are meeting with Dallas Turner here soon if they haven't already. So those are talents that absolutely you can look at trading or keeping the number 9 overall pick. But if those talents are gone, something happens, some other teams trade up, some other expected things happen outside the Bears' control, there are players as well later in the first round, in that mid-first round area, in Jared Verse, edge out of Florida State. Liatu is how you pronounce it, the edge out of UCLA, another player that absolutely can be gotten by the Chicago Bears later, kind of mid in that first round as well. And then you look at Troy Fatanu as well, a offensive tackle and interior offensive lineman. We know that they've been kind of prioritizing versatility. This is another guy in that top 20 as well that the Chicago Bears can go after. And then, of course, Jackson Powers Johnson, who the Bears did get to see his pro day, and that could signal that the Bears may have a willingness to trade down to get that. You shore up that offensive line in a lot of ways there. So there are players that are worth also trading down for. The biggest question in all of this is how the Bears evaluate that talent. And that's what it comes down to, because I think how they evaluate that talent could be. Now, I know a lot of people have brought up Chop Robinson and things like that, and we know he had an amazing NFL combine, and shout out to him there. And if you do pick up 2 first-round picks, one in the mid, one in the later round for that number 9 overall pick, he's another player that could be gotten for you. I just don't think he's as good as a Jared Verse. I don't think he's as good as a Dallas Turner. But again, it's up to Ryan Poles and how he evaluates what he wants to do with that number 9 overall pick. Do you go with more bites at the apple, or do you go with kind of more the top-end talent? Because I do think those guys are a little bit head and shoulders above players at the other position that you can get at number 9, unless you just trust your development, unless you trust or see something different that you think you can really get out of those guys. And Ryan Poles is somebody who's going to do that full evaluation before he makes that decision ultimately, and that's the best thing to do, right? I've said it before. We got to stop trying to guess what Ryan Poles is going to do. If nothing else, he shows that he learns from mistakes. when you just look at what he's done already to set up our next quarterback to be in a much better situation than what Justin Fields has come into. He learned from those mistakes, and those mistakes weren't all mistakes that he made. Some of those mistakes he inherited from the previous front office that did draft Justin Fields, but he learned that. Hopefully this helps stop the trend of the Bears when you go from Mitch to go to Justin Fields to now to Caleb Williams or whoever the rookie quarterback is going to be. You got it. And Ryan Poles seems to be learning from those kind of generational mistakes that the Chicago Bears have done. And we now can see what the Bears are going to do to help kind of shore those things up. And the number 9 overall pick, what you do there is a big part of that puzzle as well that I think we got to start pivoting our thinking towards, because that could be where things start getting a little special, a little bit more creative for the Chicago Bears, and we'll see where the chips fall after that. Guys, thank you for that part. We're also going to dive into the mailbag today. We got 2 voicemails we're going to get into. This first voicemail, this one's for one of my favorite callers, my brother, K2.
Yo. What up, fellas? It's your boy K2 again, man. Man, I'm just calling in, man, to just say I want to congratulate Ryan Poles for just doing things the right way, man. I understand Justin got traded. It is what it is, man. The writing was kind of on the wall with it. Like, I never really got into the debate of the Justin Fields versus the quarterback situation. I just wanted to see what were they going to do. They pulled the trigger, man, and they did what I think was the best option for the future, because the way they set up the foundation, man, for us to be successful with any quarterback you bring in, like, it ain't even got to be Caleb Williams. Hell, you can throw me in the quarterback position when we might be successful, man. Like, that's how good the foundation is being built here in Chicago, man. And it's something different. You know, I've never seen it happen this way, man. And I know none of us seen it happen this way, man. So it's a good feeling. I'm excited. And I just can't wait, man. I just can't wait till draft night. I want to see if there's like a little magic trick card up his sleeve, man, that he might pull out, man, do something else crazy, man. I don't know, man. You never know with Ryan Poles, man. But I'm really, really looking forward to this season, man. I think it's going to be a playoff team, and I believe this is how championships are built. I really, really appreciate that as a Chicago Bears fan. And before I go, man, I just want to say one thing. Fred, my boy Fred, if you're listening, all right, my boy, hold your head, and the future is bright, baby. Chicago up, bear down.
Poles doing things the right way, I agree, right? Building a foundation, something that's sustainable that you can build off on, is hugely important for building a team that's gonna go the distance, right? They can last, because now you can add pieces to it rather than worry about losing pieces, things like that. Poles is doing it the right way. I definitely agree with you there. Does that mean that he's going to bat 1,000? No, right? And I think people get it confused sometimes because we hold these GMs and things to an extremely high standard, which is fine, but we look at anything that they don't do right, or we say, oh, you still got this hole, or oh, you missed on Chase Claypool, and we kind of focus on the negative and kind of overlook the good. Ryan Poles has done way more good for the Chicago Bears team than mistakes he's made with certain players. Yeah, he's taking risk, right? He's absolutely taking risk on players that did not work out. But then let's talk about the risk that did work out. Deontay Foreman was one that worked out, right? Trading down and getting Darnell Wright was one that worked out. Darnell Wright, one of the best rookie offensive tackles in the game of football, period, right? And he has so much more to build off on. He played so well over that rookie season. And now, especially that you're looking at getting a rookie quarterback, shoring up that offensive line looks pretty damn good, doesn't it? Getting those type of things. So, yeah, he's going to make mistakes. He's going to do some things that we look back on and say, hey, that didn't quite work out your way. That didn't go the way that you hoped. But overall, he's making a lot of good decisions. And this quarterback one is now going to be one that we're all looking at to see if that was the right decision. Best believe everybody is going to be, even the analysts, the ESPN hosts, the people that said, oh, absolutely, send Justin Fields out of there. They're going to be the first ones to watch. If Justin Fields has a better game one week than Caleb Williams, they're going to say that. If Justin Fields has, God forbid, a better season than Caleb Williams, which he's going to be coming off the bench, but we'll see. If he does, God forbid, how the flip-flopping is going to happen in the national media. But as a GM, you have to silence all of that, and you have to focus on improving your football team. And if you get those decisions right, ain't nobody going to be looking at it. And so that's where Ryan Poles, and then also, don't forget, it's not just Justin Fields. So many people have made it just about Justin Fields and Caleb Williams. If Jaden turns out to be a better quarterback than Caleb Williams, everybody's going to act like, oh, well, we knew. We said Dan Orlovsky's probably the only person that said it, but we knew that you shouldn't have gone Caleb Williams. He was short anyway. Everybody's going to say that. So Ryan Poles, that's the importance of building a foundation. That way, if you do get a decision wrong, you do get a player wrong, that foundation is still there, and you have somebody prepared to step in if you build that solid foundation. And hopefully that's what Ryan Poles is building here. Let's get into the next voicemail. This one's for the 603.
What's going on, Shy Bear Central? Hopefully I can make it to one of these mailbag videos, make it onto one of these mailbag videos someday. But it's been 2 days now since the Fields trade, and there's only one thing that like puzzles me about it. I would like to know y'all's thoughts and opinions. But now that Fields is traded, to me personally, it's either Caleb Williams or nobody else, because I'm gonna be honest, the other quarterbacks don't intrigue me at all. But if we do go Caleb Williams, then we cannot go in this draft with only 4 picks. And I'm thinking like the only way we get a haul for number 9 is if we trade back to like 25 to like 32 in the first round to recoup some draft capital. And I don't know, that's too big of a hit to take on this team right now when we especially haven't even solidified the offensive line. Personally, I don't even know if we really got a center on the team like that. I know we signed that dude from like the Rams, and then we got Ryan Bates, but it's like they're not high quality centers when you have opportunities to draft like Jackson Power Johnson in this draft, and there's other like high quality guys in this draft. Like, I don't know, just a really like confusing situation overall. Just wondering what we're gonna do with that number 9, because I think this draft is just way too loaded to be going into it with only 4 picks. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it's either Caleb Williams or no one at this point. So yeah, just want to know what y'all think. What's the best compensation we can get for that number 9 pick if we were to trade it? Thank you, y'all. Have a great day. Chicago up, Bear down.
So I kind of just went over the number 9 overall pick. I don't really have like options in mind from like other teams, but I think, brother, what it comes down to is how they evaluate it, how they evaluate the talent that falls there at number 9. I don't think personally the Chicago Bears are going to go into the draft absolutely thinking like, oh, we got to move this number 9 overall pick. I think they're going to go into this draft and say, all right, let's see who falls at number 9. And then even let's see who's falling. Let's see what calls we get on that number 9 pick. Because listen, if somebody's calling because they want a Dallas Turner, if somebody's calling because they want a Joe Alt, and they are willing to give up something that can benefit you now, and Ryan Poles can maybe take advantage of a future draft pick, oh, that then becomes like, hey, yeah, we really like Joe Alt. He can absolutely help this team. He has the potential to be amazing, not just great, but amazing. But hey, yeah, we kind of need some of those picks. Run me those picks, fam. So that may be what it comes down to with Ryan Poles and what this front office has to do in that evaluation. But I think they're going into the draft with all options in front of them. They're going to be taking calls. They're going to be making some calls. And at the end of the day, they're going to make the decision that they feel is best for this team that's going to get this team in that position. So I definitely think there are some teams that could be looking to trade up, whether it's the draft, you know, some of the another one of the quarterbacks that falls there, right, or whatever else it is. There's definitely going to be some people some teams that are calling, and don't overlook the fact that a team could be calling to get Brock Bowers. A team could be calling to get Rome Odunze. A team could be calling because they want J.J. McCarthy, right? There are teams that could be calling once that number 9 pick falls, and the Bears are going to listen to that. And how Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren and everybody evaluates that potential offer, we'll see what they do with that. But I think we're in a good position either way. The number 9 pick is one of the most important decisions as well that the Chicago Bears have to get right, because tell you what, you trade down, whoever you trade down doesn't work out, and you could have had one of these players and they end up working out, that's going to hurt a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. That's going to hurt just a little bit, just a tad, just a little bit. But all right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following the channel at Shy Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but Bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.